In 2020, pro pickleball looked like this. Now it looks like this. The difference is super clear. If you're not dictating play with topspin dinks, you're falling behind modern pickleball. If you're not topspinning, you're not winning. In this video, I'm gonna teach you how to hit topspin dinks and when to hit topspin dinks, and we're gonna focus on the forehand side this time. So the most important step in actually knowing how to hit a topspin dink is knowing when and when not to use that tool. Aggressive topspin dinks are always gonna have a little bit less margin than those more passive sliced dinks. Oh my God, that was goated. Now I'll do the more passive version. So why is this? When we're dinking, we need to hit upwards on the ball to get it up and over the net. That makes sense. So when we have an open face, it's a little bit easier to lift that ball up and over the net, as opposed to the topspin shot, where we're actually closing up the face, brushing off the ball. So since I have less margin on this shot, I need 3 things to be true before I decide to hit a topspin dink. First, I need to be in good position, not stretched out wide or stretched over towards the middle. Next, I want to make sure that I'm not pushed back off of this kitchen line. And third, and arguably most important, is I want to be able to make contact out in front of my body, out in front of me, as opposed to catching the ball behind me. So if any of these 3 criteria aren't met, we're not going to have enough margin on our shots. We're going to be more likely to pop the ball up and our opponent is going to smack it at us, or we'll be more likely to toss that ball into the net. So to me, when I'm dinking, it should almost just feel obvious to hit that topspin shot, right? The ball is just waiting for me and I can hit that ball nice and out in front. When in doubt, I'm gonna slice and lift that ball up and over. But if I'm in good position, I might go for that topspin. There's a slice, nice and easy, I'll topspin it. Out of position, that's a slice. Out of position, out of position. Oh, I still screwed it up, but it was the right choice. Make good choices, kids. So another reason why pickleball looks a little bit different between 2020 and now is because of the paddle technology. Spinny paddles, textured paddles, allow us to get a lot more spin now than we used to in 2020, particularly these Pro XRs. So my YouTube subscribers can save 10% when you go to the link in the description, and we'll give you free shipping. Get yourself a really nice spinny paddle courtesy of Pro XR. Now, how do we hit these topspin dinks? First and foremost, the most important part is our preparation. So something that's super important as part of our preparation is this non-dominant hand. What we're gonna do is we're gonna push the paddle out to the side over here, using our left hand to help us coil. Somebody who does a really, really nice job of this is Anna Bright. Take a look at some of this. So another super important part of our preparation for this topspin dink is cornering the ball or getting in good position. So something else that Anna does is she gets around the outside of the ball, giving herself options. She can hit that ball cross court, she can hit it to the middle, she can hit it down the line, she can speed it up. She can do basically whatever she wants because of her good footwork. If you don't remember that video, I'll put the link in the description as well. Watch the rest of this one before you go watch that one. Okay, so as you can see, something that's important here is in order to generate topspin, I need to make sure that I'm dropping the paddle head below the level of the ball and brushing upwards. The swing is coming up the back of the ball. Also, as you can see, there's a little bit of a paddle angle close here, right? It's nothing crazy. I'm not swinging like this, right? It's really, really gradual. Only a couple of percentage points over towards that closed face. We'll do a couple more examples. Getting underneath the ball. So I've got my coil with the left hand. I'm dropping the paddle below the level of the ball, closing the paddle face up ever so slightly, and brushing up the back of the ball. So when I'm hitting a slice, the paddle face is going to be slightly open, but what I want here is for the paddle face to just be ever so slightly closed. We don't want to be going like crazy here, but we're going to be slightly turned towards that closed position to brush up the back of the ball. Now, something that I think of is I try to get the paddle head one head below the level of the ball, right? So I imagine that there's another paddle in between my paddle and where I'm going to make contact. Something super important to note is that I am not changing my grip here, right? I'm only changing the paddle angle. Definitely not changing around the grip in my hand, but rather just the angle of that wrist. So as I'm working these topspin dinks, I like to try and think of making contact about a forearm length in front of my body. So my ideal contact point is about 1 forearm length in front of my body. What this is going to do is this is going to allow me to get this brush in a stronger position than if I'm here. I'm not really in a very strong position when I'm making contact right next to my body. It's also a little tougher to pull up the back of the ball and brush the way that we want to. So remember that paddle angle from like 7 seconds ago? It's super important that that paddle angle stays the same throughout the swing. One of the biggest issues I see when people are working on these topspin dinks is they try to use a little bit too much wrist. Really, our paddle angle is actually staying the same. Our wrist is in that same position the whole time. If I'm doing all of this stuff, certainly some players do, but it's just not quite as consistent, and it's not what we want to do just as we're developing this aggressive topspin dink. So there are definitely some players that are using their wrist when they're hitting these aggressive dinks, but they're pro players and you're watching a YouTube video. So my recommendation is start with the basics, don't run until you can walk, and get this no wrist down really well before you start to add in that extra wrist. So the last thing that we got to talk about on topspin dinks is the follow through. So since we're not hitting the ball super far, we don't need these big, crazy swings. We want to make sure that our follow through is staying nice and compact, because if I do pop this ball up, I want to make sure that I'm right back in ready position to defend afterwards. So we really don't want to have that follow through coming up and over the shoulder like we might in tennis. We want that staying nice and compact right in here. I like to think of this as not crossing over the plane of my body. So my follow through is going to come right back to the center of my body and not come over to the left side of my body. Where should I hit these topspin dinks? The more distance I have to hit the ball, the more time the topspin has to take effect. When you see aggressive topspin dinks, they're almost always going cross court because you have about 24 feet to hit from corner to corner as opposed to 14 feet if you hit straight ahead. Obviously, we don't want to be hitting it cross court every single time. We've got to keep our opponents guessing just a little bit, but our topspin dinks work far, far better when we have more space for that topspin to actually interact with the air and come down. So the best way to get started on this is definitely by working on the cross court shot. I like to work on this shot by having one person hitting aggressive topspin dinks while the other person is working on their slice dinks, and we're gonna go cross court. I will be the slicer, Johnny's gonna work the topspin until we get into a nice good rhythm this direction as well. Make sure that you guys are staying up to date with modern pickleball, and if you've got any questions on this video, check out my Cameo. I'll put the link in the description. I will answer any questions that you guys have there. And if you want to learn more about cornering, like I mentioned, check out the other video in the description. I'll put it here, somewhere or another. Part 2 of this video is going to be the two-handed backhand that you guys have been requesting so much, working on getting topspin there. So if you like this video and you want to see part 2, make sure to subscribe.